Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Mystery Channel. Tonight, we'll be exploring some of the world's most ancient and mysterious works of art. Cave paintings are astonishingly beautiful and may even contain lost knowledge that's been hidden from humanity for millennia. Across the world, ancient people entered dark caverns and created scenes that still challenge modern understanding. Some images appear carefully planned. Others seem connected to rituals that have been forgotten. And a few may even contain sacred information that was never meant to be seen by outsiders. Researchers continue to debate why these places were chosen and what the artists intended. The answers may involve ceremony, memory, or beliefs that left no written record. More unusual theories suggest that certain images preserve lost knowledge from a much older chapter of human history. What makes cave art so fascinating is not only its age. It is the possibility that these markings were part of a system whose meaning has disappeared. If you enjoy these curious journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is get settled in. Let your shoulders soften, let your breathing slow, and allow your mind to settle into stillness as we explore the mysteries of cave art together. Let's begin. Cave art may be humanity's oldest surviving message to the future. Long before writing appeared, people placed images on stone where they could outlast memory. These marks were not casual scratches made beside a campfire. Many required planning, prepared pigments, reliable light, and a deliberate journey underground. That effort suggests the artists believed the images mattered beyond the moment of creation. Perhaps they were preserving stories for descendants who already understood the symbols. Perhaps they hoped unseen forces would receive them. Some people even wonder whether the caves were chosen because stone seemed permanent in a world where almost everything else vanished. Wood rotted, voices faded, bodies disappeared. Yet painted animals and signs remained. We cannot know whether the makers imagined people thousands of years later standing before their work. Still, that is exactly what happened. Their message survived, while their language did not. We can see what they left behind, but we cannot hear the explanation that once made every line meaningful. Some ancient handprints may be older than modern humans in Europe. Several red markings in Spanish caves have been dated to a period before modern humans are widely believed to have reached the region. If those dates are correct, Neanderthals may have created them. That possibility changes the old picture of Neanderthals as creatures with little symbolic thought. A hand stencil requires more than touching a wall. Pigment must be gathered and prepared. The hand must be placed with intention. Color must then be blown or applied around it. The result is a clear human presence, preserved in stone. Critics argue that mineral dating can only reveal the age of crusts above the paint. That leaves room for debate about the true moment of creation. Yet the possibility remains powerful. A Neanderthal may have stood in darkness, raised a hand, and deliberately left a sign. If so, symbolic expression was not the invention of one human branch. It may have belonged to a deeper shared inheritance. Lascaux's famous animals may hide a lost system of meaning. The walls of Lascaux contain hundreds of animals, yet their arrangement does not look like a simple record of daily hunting. Certain species appear repeatedly while others remain strangely rare. Some figures overlap. Others face one another across carefully chosen surfaces. Signs appear beside them in patterns that still resist translation. This has led to the idea that the cave may preserve a symbolic system rather than a collection of separate pictures. The animals could have represented clans, seasons, spiritual forces, or stages in a ceremony. Another possibility is that each chamber carried a different lesson known only to initiated visitors. The paintings may even have formed a sequence that unfolded as people moved deeper inside. No surviving key explains how the images were meant to be read. Modern viewers see magnificent animals. The original audience may have seen relationships, warnings, and instructions. Lascaux may therefore be less like a gallery and more like a book whose alphabet has vanished. Indonesia's painted pigs changed the story of human creativity. For generations, popular accounts treated European caves as the birthplace of great prehistoric art. Discoveries in Sulawesi overturned that comfortable story. Paintings of wild pigs were found to be tens of thousands of years old. Their age placed them among the earliest known figurative images anywhere on Earth. This suggested that sophisticated picture-making was not confined to Ice Age Europe. It may already have been part of human culture, before groups spread across distant regions. One scene appears to show several beings interacting with animals. Some interpret it as an early narrative. Others warn that the surface is too damaged for certainty. Even so, the discovery forces a larger question. How many ancient traditions remain hidden in tropical caves where heat and moisture destroy evidence? Europe may seem central only because its caves preserved more. The true origin of symbolic art could lie elsewhere, or it may have emerged among communities whose oldest creations have completely disappeared. Neanderthals may have marked caves long before history began. Deep inside several European caves, simple shapes and colored traces have raised an extraordinary possibility. Neanderthals may have entered these spaces with symbolic purpose. One structure in Bruniqual Cave was built from broken stalagmites more than 100,000 years ago. The pieces were arranged into rings far from daylight. Fires burned there, yet nobody knows why. Elsewhere, red pigment appears on mineral formations that may also predate modern human arrival. None of this proves that Neanderthals painted elaborate scenes. It does suggest they understood hidden spaces as places worth altering. Mainstream caution remains important because dating ancient marks is difficult. Natural staining can also mislead the eye. Still, the evidence no longer fits the old caricature of a mindless brute. These people buried their dead, used pigments, and explored darkness. Some people believe their cave markings were the remains of ceremonies. If that is true, the underground mystery began far earlier than once imagined. Chauvet's lions look too skilled for their supposed age. The lions of Chauvet Cave appear confident, controlled, and full of motion. Their heads overlap in a coordinated group. Their bodies follow the wall with an understanding of shape and balance that seems astonishingly mature. Yet many of these images are more than 30,000 years old. Early theories of art often assumed that human skill developed slowly from crude beginnings. Chauvet challenged that idea almost overnight. Its artists understood shading, perspective, and movement at a level that many expected to appear much later. Some critics once wondered whether the paintings had been dated incorrectly because they looked too accomplished. Multiple studies strengthened the early dates, but the sense of disbelief remains. Perhaps artistic knowledge had already developed for thousands of years before Chauvet. Maybe earlier masterpieces were painted on surfaces that did not survive. A more radical thought is that cultural brilliance can appear suddenly and then disappear. The cave may preserve not a beginning, but the peak of a lost tradition. Ancient artists painted deep underground where nobody lived. Many decorated caves contain no sign of permanent settlement in their painted chambers. People did not cook there, sleep there, or raise children there. They entered with lamps and moved through dangerous passages to reach spaces far beyond daylight. This separates the art from ordinary decoration. The journey itself may have been part of the experience. Darkness removes familiar landmarks and makes every sound feel larger. A visitor would depend on a guide who knew the route. That gave the guide unusual authority. Some chambers may have been reserved for ceremonies that only a few people could witness. Others might have served as places where stories were taught away from daily life. More speculative ideas suggest the caves were treated as entrances to another realm. The walls may have been seen as boundaries rather than surfaces. Painting upon them could have been a way to contact what lay beyond. Whatever the purpose, the location was chosen with extraordinary care. Hand stencils may record identity, ritual, or something stranger. A hand stencil looks simple, yet it carries an immediate human presence. The person is gone, but the outline remains at full scale. Some caves contain only a few examples. Others hold entire clusters that seem to gather across the wall. These could have recorded membership within a group. They may have marked a rite of passage or confirmed participation in a ceremony. Differences in finger position might even have communicated names or signals. Another theory proposes that hands were placed against the rock during healing rituals. Pigment blown around them could have fixed the moment in permanent form. Some prints belong to children, which complicates ideas about secret adult ceremonies. Perhaps families entered together. Perhaps young people were introduced to traditions at an early age. The strangest possibility is also the simplest. These were declarations of existence. Each person may have been saying that they stood there, touched the boundary, and became part of the place. Cave walls may have been chosen because they changed sound. Experiments in decorated caves have found that some painted areas produce strong echoes or unusual resonance. A clap can return with surprising force. A chant can seem to come from the rock itself. This has encouraged the theory that sound influenced where images were placed. Ancient visitors may have tested chambers by calling into the darkness. Places that answered could have seemed alive. An animal painted there might then have appeared connected to the voice returning from the wall. Some markings are found in narrow spaces where sound becomes especially intense. Researchers disagree about how consistent the pattern is, and not every painted chamber has remarkable acoustics. Even so, the idea changes how cave art can be imagined. The images were not necessarily experienced in silence. Drums, footsteps, or spoken words may have turned the chamber into a powerful sensory setting. What survives today is only the visual layer. The original mystery may have depended just as much on what people heard. The same symbols appear across distant caves without clear explanation. Certain abstract signs repeat across wide areas of prehistoric Europe. These include dots, lines, open shapes, and forms that resemble ladders or branches. Their consistency is difficult to ignore. Some appear in caves separated by vast distances and many generations. That could mean groups shared a common symbolic vocabulary. Travelers may have carried signs between communities. Marriage networks might also have spread ideas. Another possibility is that the shapes arose independently because human minds favor similar patterns. Simple marks can emerge naturally from counting, mapping, or altered states. Yet some combinations seem too specific for coincidence. Researchers have catalogued dozens of recurring forms, but no agreed translation exists. They may have represented animals, places, ownership, or spiritual concepts. Some people believe the signs form an early writing system. Others argue that writing requires a much more structured grammar. Whatever they were, the symbols suggest prehistoric communication was more organized than the surviving images alone can reveal. Altamira was once dismissed because its paintings seemed too advanced. When the painted ceiling of Altamira became known in the 19th century, many scholars refused to accept its prehistoric age. The bison looked too confident. The use of the rock surface appeared too sophisticated. Critics suspected forgery, even though creating such a deception would have required remarkable skill and access. The discoverer, Marcelino Santos de Sotuola, endured years of ridicule. Only after similar caves were found in France did the academic world admit that Altamira was genuine. By then, Sotuola had died. This episode remains a warning about certainty. Evidence can be rejected not because it is weak, but because it threatens an accepted picture of the past. Some people see Altamira as proof that experts may still underestimate ancient abilities. Others note that skepticism was reasonable when no comparable discoveries existed. Both views matter. The cave changed prehistory, but it also exposed how difficult it can be for a shocking discovery to enter mainstream knowledge. Early researchers struggled to believe prehistoric people made such art. 19th century ideas about human progress assumed that ancient people had been crude and mentally limited. Finely painted animals did not fit that model. The problem was not only the evidence, it was the belief that artistic intelligence belonged to civilization. Prehistoric hunters were expected to make rough tools, not images filled with observation and control. This bias shaped early reactions to cave discoveries. Some scholars proposed recent visitors, hidden forgers, or accidental stains rather than accept the obvious. Over time, repeated finds made denial impossible. The embarrassment forced archaeology to reconsider what intelligence looks like without cities or writing. Yet the deeper lesson remains unsettled. Modern societies often confuse technology with imagination. Cave art shows that complex thought can exist in cultures that leave few permanent objects. It also suggests that entire intellectual worlds may disappear without records. The paintings survived by chance. The systems of knowledge behind them may have been just as advanced in their own way. Hidden chambers suggest some paintings were never meant for crowds. A number of cave images sit beyond narrow squeezes, steep climbs, or passages that allow only one person at a time. These locations would have made large gatherings impossible. That matters because it challenges the idea that every painting served as public storyteller. Some works may have been created for a tiny audience. A single initiate could have been guided into a chamber and shown an image under controlled light. The secrecy may have increased its power. Another possibility is that nobody watched the painting being made. The act itself could have been private. Certain artists may have entered alone to leave offerings or complete personal visions. Some people suggest that the images were intended for spirits rather than human viewers. In that case, visibility was irrelevant. The cave did not need an audience because the wall was the recipient. These hidden locations remind us that prehistoric art may not match modern ideas of display. Some pictures may have mattered precisely because almost nobody saw them. Flickering firelight may have made cave animals appear to move. Cave paintings are usually shown today under steady electric lighting. That is not how ancient viewers experienced them. Small flames created shifting shadows across uneven stone. As the light moved, engraved lines could appear and disappear. Painted legs might seem to change position. A head could emerge from darkness and then recede again. Some animals were drawn with repeated outlines that look confusing in still photographs. Under flickering light, those extra lines may have produced the impression of motion. This has led to comparisons with very early animation. The effect would not require machinery. It would depend on the relationship between flame, wall, and image. People carrying lamps could control what others saw by changing distance and angle. A skilled guide may have revealed scenes gradually. Some researchers have recreated these conditions and found the results surprisingly dramatic. If this interpretation is correct, cave art was never truly static. The The surviving picture is only one frozen part of a performance. Artists sometimes used wall shapes to complete animal bodies. Prehistoric painters did not always treat the cave wall as a flat surface. They noticed bulges, cracks, and natural edges that already suggested living forms. A raised area could become a shoulder. A curve could define a belly. A fissure might form the back of an animal without added pigment. This method shows an intimate understanding of the stone. The artist was not simply placing a picture onto the wall. The image was being discovered within it. That has inspired several interpretations. Perhaps the painters believed animals already existed inside the rock and needed only to be revealed. Another idea is more practical. Using natural relief made the figure appear more convincing in low light. Either way, the technique demanded imagination and careful observation. Modern viewers may miss half the effect because photographs flatten the surface. Standing in the chamber can make the animal seem physically present. The cave itself becomes part of the artwork, which may also explain why certain walls were chosen. Red dots may have carried meanings we can no longer read. Clusters of red dots appear in many prehistoric caves, sometimes alone and sometimes beside animals. Their simplicity makes them easy to overlook, yet they may have carried precise information. A dot can mark a count, a place, a person, or a moment. Repeated dots might have recorded days or events. They may also have served as signs used during ceremonies. Some arrangements appear deliberate enough to suggest a code. Others look spontaneous and could have been made by pressing pigment onto the wall with a fingertip. The same basic form appears across long periods, which raises the possibility of continuity. Yet a dot is also one of the easiest marks any human can create. Similarity does not guarantee shared meaning. More speculative theories connect certain groups to stars or constellations. That remains difficult to prove because almost any cluster can be matched to the sky. The mystery survives because the marks are clear while their purpose is completely silent. Missing fingers in handprints still divide experts and storytellers. Some hand stencils appear to show fingers that are shortened or absent. Early explanations often imagined injury, frostbite, or deliberate removal. Those ideas created a dramatic picture of harsh ritual. Later experiments offered a simpler answer. A person can bend selected fingers while pigment is blown around the hand. The resulting stencil can look exactly like a missing digit. This has led to theories that the hand shapes were signals. They might have represented numbers, names, family groups, or coded messages. Different positions could even have formed a prehistoric sign language. The challenge is proving that the patterns were intentional. Damaged rock can erase parts of a print. Poor pigment coverage can also create false gaps. Some examples still appear too regular to dismiss. If the fingers were folded, the walls may preserve gestures rather than injuries. That possibility transforms the handprints from portraits into communication. The caves may contain messages made with the body, but the people who knew how to read them are gone. The Lascaux shaft scene remains one of prehistory's strangest images. Deep within Lascaux, a rare human figure appears beside a wounded bison. The person has a bird-like head or mask. Nearby lies a bird on a stick. A rhinoceros seems to move away from the scene. Nothing else in the cave presents such an obvious event, yet its meaning is impossible to settle. It could show a hunting accident. The human may be falling or lying in a trance. The bird object might be a spear thrower, a ritual staff, or a symbol linked to the figure's identity. Some people see a shamanic vision in which the body remains still while the spirit travels. Others interpret the arrangement as a constellation map. No theory explains every detail. The scene feels narrative, but its story is missing. Even the awkward human form raises questions because the animals nearby are drawn with much greater skill. Perhaps realism was not intended. The figure may represent a role rather than a person. Some cave animals were painted over many generations. Decorated caves were not always completed during one burst of activity. In some places, images were added across centuries or even longer periods. Later artists painted near older figures. They also engraved over them or reused the same chamber for new marks. This means a cave could accumulate meaning like a sacred archive. Each generation may have returned because the earlier images already made the location important. New work might have renewed an old ceremony or connected living people with ancestors. Overlapping animals can look chaotic to modern eyes, yet the layering may have been deliberate. Covering an earlier figure could signal replacement, respect, or transfer of power. It might also show that the exact image mattered less than the act of painting in that location. The cave was therefore not frozen in time. It changed as communities changed. What we see now is the final surface of a much longer conversation. Many stages remain hidden beneath later pigment and mineral deposits. Reindeer were eaten near Lascaux but rarely painted there. Archaeological remains show that reindeer were an important food source for many Ice Age communities in southwestern Europe. Yet the walls of Lascaux are dominated by horses, bison, and great wild cattle. Reindeer appear only rarely. This mismatch weakens the simple idea that cave art was a menu of hunted animals. If people painted what they ate most often, reindeer should have filled the chambers. Their absence suggests the images followed another logic. The chosen species may have carried symbolic importance unrelated to diet. Perhaps powerful animals were linked to identity or myth. Maybe common prey seemed too ordinary for sacred spaces. Another possibility is that paintings referred to particular seasons when different animals mattered. The contrast also warns against assuming that prehistoric life can be read directly from pictures. What people represented was not necessarily what they saw most often. Lascaux may reveal a mental world shaped by meaning rather than survival alone. The missing reindeer could be as important as the animals that remain. Horses dominate many walls despite not always being main prey. Across several famous caves, horses appear with remarkable frequency. Their numbers do not always match the bones found at nearby living sites. This suggests the artists were not simply recording what people ate. Horses may have represented movement, fertility, status, or a force linked to the changing seasons. Their flowing outlines also suited the curves of cave walls, which may partly explain their popularity. Yet practical explanations do not settle the mystery. Some horses were painted with unusual markings that may identify particular breeds or symbolic types. Others seem arranged in groups that feel planned rather than random. One theory proposes that horses belong to a larger system in which different animals carried opposing meanings. Another suggests they were linked to journeys between worlds. We cannot know whether prehistoric viewers saw an animal, an ancestor, or a sacred sign. What is clear is that the horse mattered far beyond its value as food. Bison images may reveal beliefs about power and survival. Bison appear in some of the most dramatic cave scenes ever discovered. Their massive shoulders and lurid heads gave artists a natural symbol of strength. These animals were dangerous to approach, yet they could also provide enormous amounts of food. That combination may have made them powerful figures in prehistoric thought. A bison could represent abundance and threat at the same time. Some images emphasize wounds or tense body positions, which may connect them to hunting stories. Others seem calm and monumental. Their placement in important chambers suggests they carried more than practical meaning. Certain people believe bison were linked to male power or seasonal renewal. Others see them as guardians of hidden spaces. The truth may have varied between groups and generations. What makes the mystery compelling is the care given to every hump, horn, and stance. These were not casual sketches. They were images of an animal that could sustain a community or destroy a hunter within seconds. Cave art may preserve memories from the Ice Age world. The painted animals of prehistoric caves offer more than artistic beauty. They may preserve direct memories of landscapes that no longer exist. Mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, cave lions, and giant deer once shared the world with human communities. Their images may record how those animals moved, behaved, and appeared before extinction erased them. Some details seem too specific to be invented. Coat patterns and body shapes sometimes match evidence discovered much later in frozen remains. Yet memory may have been mixed with myth. A creature could begin as an observed animal and gradually become part of a story. Over many generations, the image might carry both natural knowledge and sacred meaning. This raises a fascinating possibility. Cave walls may be one of the few surviving archives created by people who witnessed the Ice Age firsthand. They did not write descriptions for us. Instead, they left pictures whose factual and symbolic layers can no longer be separated. Ancient pigments were sometimes transported from surprisingly distant places. The colors used in cave art did not always come from the nearest source. In some regions, pigment minerals appear to have been carried across long distances. That meant people selected particular materials rather than grabbing whatever lay nearby. Certain reds may have been valued for brightness. Some blacks behaved better when mixed with binders or heated. Transporting these materials required effort, knowledge, and planning. The pigment may even have moved through exchange networks between separate communities. If so, cave art was connected to relationships that stretched far beyond the painted chamber. A special mineral could have carried a story about where it came from or who provided it. Some people suspect that the journey of the pigment mattered as much as the finished image. The substance itself may have been considered powerful. What looks like simple color may therefore represent trade, ritual value, and social connection. Every painted line could contain traces of a much larger prehistoric world. Charcoal lines can still reveal the artist's original hand. A charcoal drawing can preserve the speed and confidence of the person who made it. Thick strokes may show where pressure increased. Faint lines can reveal hesitation or adjustment. In some caves, artists sketched an animal quickly before strengthening selected parts. These traces let modern viewers follow decisions made thousands of years ago. A repeated contour may show that the first attempt felt wrong. A sudden curve can reveal a practiced movement completed in one motion. The intimacy is extraordinary because charcoal records action almost like handwriting. Different styles may even point to separate individuals. One artist might favor bold outlines. Another may build figures through short, controlled marks. Some researchers hope detailed scans will eventually identify recurring hands across entire cave systems. That could reveal whether certain people specialized in painting. It might also show whether knowledge passed from master to student. The wall does not preserve the artist's name, but it may still preserve the unmistakable rhythm of their movements. Children may have left marks beside expert prehistoric painters. Small handprints and finger traces show that children entered some decorated caves. Their presence changes the usual image of secret rituals performed only by adult men. In certain places, young visitors moved through deep chambers and touched soft surfaces. Some marks appear playful. Others follow patterns that may have been demonstrated by older people. This suggests cave traditions could have involved teaching. A child may have watched an experienced artist prepare pigment or outline an animal. They may even have practiced nearby. The contrast between rough marks and skilled paintings can feel surprisingly familiar. It resembles a learning space where ability developed through participation. Yet the role of children remains uncertain. They might have attended family ceremonies. They could have been initiates at a particular age. More unusual theories propose that children were believed to have special access to spirits or visions. Whatever the explanation, prehistoric caves were not silent museums. They were human places where knowledge may have passed directly between generations. Finger flutings show playful traces in very ancient darkness. Soft clay walls in several caves are covered with lines drawn by fingers. These marks are called finger flutings. Some form simple curves. Others create complex patterns that spread across large surfaces. They were made by dragging fingertips through damp mineral deposits, often without pigment. The action required no tool, yet the results can be deeply expressive. Certain panels seem deliberate and rhythmic. Others look spontaneous, as though people experimented with touch. Children and adults may both have participated. Because the lines overlap, a single wall can record many separate moments. Some researchers view them as early art. Others think they reflect movement, play, or teaching rather than planned imagery. A more speculative possibility is that the patterns were created during trance or ceremony. The soft wall may have offered a direct physical connection to the cave itself. Whatever their purpose, these lines preserve gestures rather than pictures. They are among the closest things we have to ancient movement frozen in place. Some caves contain art in places almost impossible to reach. Certain images appear high above the floor, beyond narrow ledges, or inside passages that demand crawling. Reaching them would have been difficult even with modern equipment. Prehistoric artists had only basic lamps, simple tools, and their knowledge of the cave. This raises an obvious question. Why choose such dangerous locations? Visibility cannot have been the main goal because many works are hard to see. The challenge may have been part of the meaning. A difficult route could separate ordinary visitors from those allowed to continue. Physical risk may have proven courage or commitment. Another idea is that the artists sought places where the cave felt most remote from everyday life. Some people believe the hardest spaces were considered closest to another realm. The image then became a sign placed at a boundary. These hidden works reveal determination. Someone carried light and materials into a place where one mistake could have been serious. The reason must have felt important. Painted ceilings may have required ladders, scaffolds, or teamwork. Several cave paintings sit far above the natural standing height of any artist. This means people probably built some form of support. Wooden poles may have been tied together. Simple platforms could have been raised beneath the ceiling. Even a rough scaffold would require planning and cooperation. Someone had to gather the materials. Others may have held lamps or passed pigment upward. The image itself could then be produced over several sessions. Evidence of ancient holes and ledges sometimes supports this possibility, though wooden structures rarely survive. The effort suggests that certain locations were chosen before the painting began. Artists did not merely use convenient surfaces. They transformed the space to reach the exact place they wanted. That decision may have reflected visibility from below or a belief about height. Some people imagine that elevated animals represented a sky world. Others think the ceiling created a dramatic viewing angle. Either way, prehistoric painting could involve engineering as well as artistic skill. Certain animal groupings appear too deliberate to be random. In many caves, animals are not scattered without order. Particular species appear together or face one another in repeated ways. Horses may cluster near bison. Predators may occupy separate zones. Some chambers feel balanced, as though the arrangement followed rules. This has encouraged attempts to uncover a hidden grammar. Perhaps each animal represented a category such as season, direction, or social group. Their combinations could then create larger meanings. One influential idea proposed that cave art was structured around symbolic opposites. Later studies showed the pattern was not universal, but the question remains open. Human beings rarely place important images without considering position. A figure on the left can relate to one on the right. An animal above another may imply rank or sequence. The original viewers may have understood these relationships instantly. Modern observers see separate creatures because the connecting story has vanished. The mystery may not lie in individual paintings at all. It may lie in how the entire wall was meant to be read. Dots near animals may represent counting, calendars, or rituals. Small marks placed beside animals have inspired some of the most intriguing interpretations in cave art. A row of dots could record quantity. It might note how many animals were seen or killed. Yet many arrangements do not match simple hunting totals. Another theory suggests the marks tracked seasonal behavior. The number beside a species may have indicated when it migrated, mated, or gave birth. If that idea is correct, prehistoric people were storing practical knowledge in a compact visual form. Other researchers remain cautious because the same signs may have meant different things in different caves. Dots could also mark ceremonial actions completed before the image. Each visitor might have added one. A cluster would then record participation rather than time. More speculative readers connect the marks to lunar cycles. That possibility is attractive because the moon offered a natural system for counting. The difficulty is deciding whether any modern interpretation reflects the original intention. A few dots can support many stories. Repeated signs may be humanity's first attempt at notation. Long before formal writing, prehistoric people may have used simple marks to store information outside the mind. Repeated lines, notches, and geometric shapes appear across cave walls and portable objects. These signs are not pictures of obvious things. That makes them especially important. A mark that stands for an idea rather than an object is a major cognitive step. It allows knowledge to survive without the speaker being present. Some patterns may have tracked numbers or events. Others could have identified a group or location. The system may not have represented spoken language, but it could still qualify as notation. Critics warn that repetition alone does not prove a code. Humans often make decorative patterns without fixed meaning. Yet the consistency of some signs across large areas is difficult to dismiss. If even a small part of cave symbolism carried agreed information, then the roots of recording systems reach far deeper than cities. Writing may have emerged from habits already ancient beyond imagination. The meaning of abstract cave symbols remains deeply unresolved. Animals attract the most attention, but many caves contain far more abstract marks than recognizable figures. These include rectangles, branching forms, spirals, and shapes that resemble enclosed fields. Their purpose remains unknown because no surviving explanation connects them to spoken ideas. Some may be simplified objects. Others could represent places or relationships. A single shape might change meaning depending on where it appeared. This makes interpretation extremely difficult. Modern viewers tend to search for direct translation, yet the symbols may have worked through association rather than language. They could have signaled a story known by memory. One mark might have reminded a group of an entire event. Another possibility is that they were personal signs with no universal meaning. The mystery deepens because certain forms continue for thousands of years. That persistence suggests they were important. At the same time, their meanings may have shifted between communities. We are left with clear evidence of communication and almost no reliable way to recover what was communicated. Some marks may track animal behavior across seasonal cycles. Prehistoric survival depended on knowing when animals moved, bred, and gathered. A mistake could mean hunger. This makes it plausible that some cave signs preserved seasonal knowledge. Researchers have noticed that repeated marks sometimes appear near specific species. The number of lines may correspond to months after a yearly starting point. A special sign could indicate birth. If this reading is correct, the caves contain a form of ecological calendar. The images would then combine observation with memory. Hunters could pass knowledge forward without writing in the modern sense. Skeptics argue that the proposed matches are selective. Similar marks may fit several interpretations. Even so, the idea explains why animals and abstract signs often appear together. It also reveals how practical information can become sacred over time. A seasonal record might later gain ritual meaning. The wall could teach when to expect a herd while also honoring the forces believed to control it. Knowledge and belief may never have been separate. Ice Age people may have encoded star patterns in animals. Some cave scenes have been compared with constellations visible during the Ice Age. The animals on the wall may not represent the same figures recognized in later astronomy. Instead, their positions could map important stars through local myths. A cluster of dots near a bull has often drawn attention because it resembles a familiar star group. Supporters believe the arrangement is too close to be accidental. They argue that ancient people watched the sky carefully because seasonal change mattered to survival. A celestial map could help track time or preserve stories. Mainstream archaeology remains cautious. Similarity can arise when people connect a small number of points after the fact. The same pattern might match many parts of the sky. Yet the broader possibility remains difficult to dismiss. Humans have used stars for navigation and storytelling across recorded history. There is no reason to assume that began recently. Some cave animals may belong partly to the earth and partly to the heavens. Fringe theories link cave beasts to a forgotten zodiac. A more radical interpretation suggests that prehistoric animal figures formed an early zodiac. Under this idea, different species represented regions of the sky or periods within a great cycle. Their positions may have changed as the stars shifted over thousands of years. Supporters compare painted animals with later constellations and search for alignments that match ancient skies. They believe certain scenes record astronomical events or dates. Critics respond that the system can be adjusted too easily. A horse might be assigned to one constellation in one cave and another elsewhere. Without an original key, almost any pattern can be made to fit. Still, the theory remains popular because it connects two enduring human interests. People watched animals closely and also watched the heavens. A symbolic system could have joined both. Even if no formal zodiac existed, celestial stories may have shaped the choice of creatures. The cave walls might preserve fragments of an astronomy that developed long before written names for the stars. The Pleiades may be hidden in ancient dot clusters. Near certain painted animals, small groups of dots have been compared with the Pleiades. This star cluster is bright, compact, and easy to recognize. Many later cultures linked it to seasonal change. That makes an ancient connection plausible. One famous arrangement near a large bull has 7 prominent marks, though the exact number depends on how the panel is read. Supporters argue that the bull and the nearby dots resemble later sky traditions, in which a bovine figure appears close to the Pleiades. Skeptics see coincidence. 7 dots are common, and later constellations should not automatically be projected backward by tens of thousands of years. The debate is fascinating because both sides acknowledge the same visual clue. The question is whether it carries astronomical meaning. If the link is real, it would show extraordinary continuity in how humans organized the night sky. If it is not, the resemblance reveals how strongly modern minds search for familiar patterns in ancient marks. Cave artists may have understood animal motion with surprising precision. Many prehistoric animals are shown in poses that reveal close observation. Legs bend at believable angles, heads lower as if grazing or preparing to charge. Bodies twist in ways that capture movement rather than simple profile. Some details were not fully understood by modern artists until motion photography became available. This has led to admiration for the accuracy of cave painters. They had no cameras, yet they watched living animals for years. Hunting required attention to posture and behavior. That knowledge could then be translated into a few decisive lines. The result was not photographic realism. It was something more selective. The artist chose the movement that made the animal instantly recognizable. Certain images may also combine several moments in one body. That technique can look strange to modern eyes but may have been intentional. It suggests that prehistoric artists were not copying what stood before them. They were reconstructing motion from memory with a level of confidence that still feels modern. Multiple legs can suggest movement rather than simple mistakes. Some cave animals appear to have more legs than expected. Early viewers sometimes treated these extra limbs as corrections or poor drawing. Under flickering light, however, repeated legs may create a sequence. One set appears while another fades. The animal seems to step or run. This effect resembles the way later artists show movement in a single frame. It also suggests that the image was designed for changing light rather than steady viewing. In other cases, multiple outlines may record different stages of a gesture. A head can shift from raised to lowered. The tail may swing between positions. The painter could have captured time within one figure. Critics note that overpainting by later visitors can create similar results. Not every repeated limb was planned. Yet some examples are too controlled to dismiss. If they were deliberate, prehistoric artists understood a principle that would reappear much later in visual storytelling. They found a way to make stone hold more than one moment at once. Some painted animals seemed designed for torchlight animation. Certain panels produce striking effects when viewed with a moving flame. Lines that look confused under modern lighting begin to separate. One outline becomes visible while another disappears. As the torch shifts, the animal appears to breathe, turn, or advance. Artists may have understood this effect through experience. They knew how light behaved on uneven surfaces because every underground visit depended on it. A painting could therefore be planned around a particular approach. The person carrying the flame controlled the sequence. Viewers might first see an eye, then a head, and finally, the full body. This turns the cave into something closer to a performance space. The painting was only one part of the event. Movement came from the flame and the person guiding it. Some people believe stories were spoken during these displays. The image could change at key moments in the narrative. We cannot recreate the original words, but the visual mechanism may still survive in the stone. The oldest known storytelling image may come from Sulawesi. A damaged scene in an Indonesian cave appears to show human-like figures interacting with wild animals. Its great age has led some researchers to describe it as one of the earliest known narrative images. If that interpretation is correct, people were creating visual stories far earlier than once believed. The figures are unusual because some seem to combine human and animal traits. They may represent hunters wearing disguises. They could also depict supernatural beings. The scene is difficult to read because sections have been lost. Critics caution that separate images may have been painted at different times. What looks like one story now may never have formed a single composition. Even so, the possibility is extraordinary. A narrative requires more than drawing a creature. It links actions and participants into an event. That means the artist expected viewers to understand relationships within the image. The cave may preserve not just early art, but a fragment of an ancient story whose ending disappeared with the people who told it. Indonesian cave art challenges Europe's old origin story. For much of modern scholarship, Europe stood at the center of prehistoric art. Famous French and Spanish caves shaped the belief that advanced imagery emerged there first. Discoveries across Indonesia have made that story impossible to maintain. Paintings of animals and hand stencils in Sulawesi are at least as old as many celebrated European works. This suggests symbolic art developed across a much wider human world. One explanation is that early modern humans already possessed these abilities before spreading into different regions. Another is that complex art arose independently more than once. Both possibilities are important. The first points to a shared cultural inheritance. The second reveals that creativity can emerge wherever human communities face similar needs. Tropical preservation is poor, so the surviving record may represent only a fraction of what existed. Europe may have seemed unique because cold caves protected its images. The real history of art could be global, scattered, and far older than the surviving evidence suggests. Borneo's ancient animal painting raised questions about lost traditions. A large reddish animal painted in a Borneo cave was dated to more than 40,000 years ago. Its discovery showed that early figurative art existed in Southeast Asia at a remarkable depth of time. The creature may be a wild cattle species that still lives in the region. Its body is simple but recognizable, which suggests the artist understood how to reduce an animal to essential features. Later layers in the same caves include hand stencils and human figures. This change hints at a long artistic tradition that evolved over thousands of years. We do not know whether the same cultural line continued throughout that span. Populations may have moved or replaced one another. Yet the cave preserves signs of repeated symbolic activity. The greatest mystery is how much has been lost. Humid climates destroy organic materials and weather-exposed rock. Entire schools of art may have vanished. Borneo's surviving image could be one remaining page from a vast tradition that once covered the region. Australian rock art may preserve far older cultural memories. Australia contains some of the world's longest continuing artistic traditions. Certain rock images may connect with stories passed through countless generations. Dating them is difficult because many were painted on exposed surfaces rather than sealed caves. Some styles appear ancient enough to overlap with animals that later vanished. This raises the possibility that oral traditions preserved memories of extinct creatures. Unusual figures in northern Australia have also inspired speculation about visitors, spirits, or beings from another realm. Local traditions often provide their own meanings, which should not be replaced by outside theories. Yet the imagery remains open to multiple readings because it changed across time. New paintings were added over older ones. Styles spread between regions. The result is not one mystery, but a layered record of living culture. Some people see evidence of forgotten contact with distant travelers. Others see symbolic beings rooted entirely in indigenous cosmology. The age and continuity of the tradition make both the art and its interpretation unusually powerful. African cave markings may point toward even deeper origins. Africa holds some of the earliest known evidence for symbolic behavior. Engraved ochre pieces and patterned objects are older than most famous cave paintings. These discoveries suggest that the mental foundations of art developed long before humans entered Europe. In southern Africa, Repeated geometric designs appear on materials used tens of thousands of years ago. They may represent ownership, identity, or decoration. Their exact meaning is unknown, but the deliberate repetition is unmistakable. Painted rock shelters from later periods reveal rich traditions connected to hunting and spiritual experience. The older record is harder to find because geology and climate often destroy exposed art. This creates a major gap. If early humans painted caves in Africa, much of the evidence may have vanished. Some people believe the surviving engravings are traces of a much larger symbolic world. The familiar story of cave art may begin near the end of a process that had already been developing for an immense span of time. European caves still dominate fame despite a global mystery. Lascaux, Altamira, and Chauvet have become symbols of prehistoric art. Their fame is deserved, but it can distort the wider picture. Ancient images appear across Asia, Africa, Australia, and the Americas. Many remain poorly dated or less widely known. Research funding and tourism have also shaped which sites receive attention. European caves benefited from early discovery, strong preservation, and long academic study. Other regions faced difficult climates or limited access. This means the global record is uneven. A famous cave may not be more important than an obscure shelter. It may simply be better preserved and better publicized. The imbalance matters because theories built mainly from Europe can appear universal when they reflect only one region. Human symbolic life was almost certainly more diverse. Different communities may have used caves for completely different reasons. The true mystery is not centered in one continent. It is scattered across the planet, with most of its evidence damaged, buried, or still undiscovered. Remote caves suggest art traveled with early human migrations. Cave images appear in regions reached by humans after long migrations across unfamiliar landscapes. This raises the possibility that symbolic traditions moved with people. A group entering a new territory may have carried stories, signs, and painting methods learned elsewhere. The first decorated cave in a region could therefore preserve memories from a distant homeland. Similar hand stencils and animal outlines support this idea, though they are not proof. Basic techniques can also arise independently. What matters is the pattern of continuity. Humans repeatedly entered dark spaces and marked them with intention. That behavior may have been part of a cultural package carried across generations. Some people believe certain signs can be traced along ancient migration routes. The evidence remains uncertain because many sites are undated. Still, the possibility is compelling. As people crossed coastlines and forests, they may have taken an invisible tradition with them. The caves they found became new places for an old practice whose beginning lay somewhere far behind. Similar handprints appear across continents without a simple answer. Hand stencils are found in caves and rock shelters across the world. Their basic method is remarkably consistent. A person places a hand against stone and blows pigment around it. The result is instantly recognizable. This similarity may reflect shared inheritance from very early human culture. It could also be independent invention because the technique is simple and the hand is always available. The deeper mystery lies in why people chose the same gesture. A handprint is not merely an image. It records direct contact between body and surface. That may have carried emotional or spiritual meaning in many societies. Some clusters include adults and children. Others show repeated finger positions. The same form could serve different purposes in different places. One community may have marked identity. Another may have used the hand as protection or invocation. Global similarity does not guarantee global meaning. Yet the repeated act suggests something fundamental. Humans everywhere seemed drawn to leaving proof that they touched the world. Ancient artists may have shared ideas across huge distances. Prehistoric communities were not always isolated. Stone materials traveled over hundreds of miles through exchange networks. People moved for marriage, hunting, and seasonal gatherings. Stories and symbols could have moved with them. This offers one explanation for recurring artistic themes across distant caves. An image style may have spread gradually from group to group. Skilled painters might even have traveled between communities. The idea of specialist artists remains debated, but some works show such control that training seems likely. Shared conventions could also help visitors recognize meaning outside their home region. A particular sign might indicate alliance or sacred status. Yet distance complicates the picture. Similar forms can emerge without contact because humans notice the same animals and use the same basic shapes. Researchers must separate transmission from coincidence. The mystery sits between those possibilities. Prehistoric Europe and Asia may have contained networks of communication far wider than once assumed. Cave art could preserve the faint outline of those hidden connections. Isolated styles could also mean creativity appeared again and again. Not every resemblance requires a shared origin. Human beings in separate regions may have invented art independently. The materials were often easy to find. Charcoal leaves a dark line. Ochre creates strong color. A hand placed on stone produces a natural stencil. These discoveries could happen many times. If so, cave art reveals something built into the human mind. Under certain conditions, people begin making symbols without needing instruction from outsiders. The styles of distant regions often differ enough to support this view. Some traditions favor large animals. Others focus on signs or human figures. Each community may have developed its own visual language from local beliefs. This possibility is just as remarkable as cultural transmission. It means creativity is not a single invention with one birthplace. It may be a recurring human response to memory, identity, and imagination. The same species can arrive at art repeatedly because the impulse does not depend on one teacher. It may emerge wherever human thought becomes reflective enough to leave a mark. Some caves contain no living debris, only mysterious decoration. A place used as a home usually leaves traces behind. Ash gathers near fires. Bones collect after meals. Broken tools remain where hands dropped them. Yet some decorated chambers contain almost none of this everyday evidence. What survives there is image after image. That makes these spaces feel deliberate. People entered them for a purpose that was separate from shelter. They may have brought only what the event required, then removed everything afterward. Another possibility is that the chamber was considered too important for ordinary activity. Food and waste may have been forbidden inside. The paintings could have marked a place reserved for vows, visions, or contact with unseen powers. Some people even imagined that the emptiness was part of the design. A bare chamber would keep attention fixed on the walls. It would also leave fewer signs for outsiders to interpret. The absence of normal life is therefore not a blank. It may be one of the clearest clues to what the cave was meant to be. Painted chambers may have been sacred spaces rather than homes. The deepest painted rooms often feel separated from daily life by distance and effort. Reaching them could require crawling, climbing, or passing through total darkness. That journey may have transformed the chamber into sacred ground. Once inside, a person stood somewhere unlike any ordinary shelter. The ceiling was low in one place and vast in another. Every sound changed. Familiar daylight disappeared. Such conditions could make the space feel controlled by different rules. The paintings may have belonged to ceremonies that marked birth, adulthood, healing, or death. They might also have served as meeting points between the living and the dead. Some communities may have treated the cave as an ancestor's body or as the womb of the earth. These ideas remain speculative, but they fit the care shown in choosing locations. A sacred chamber does not need practical comfort. It needs separation. The greater the difficulty of reaching it, the stronger its power may have seemed to those who entered. Shamanic trance theories try to explain strange repeated patterns. Many cave walls contain zigzags, grids, dots, and branching shapes that do not clearly represent objects. Similar forms can appear when the human brain is under extreme stress, deep meditation, or altered consciousness. This has led to the idea that some artists painted what they saw during trance. Under this theory, a ritual specialist entered the cave to seek visions. The abstract shapes may represent the first stage of that experience. Animal figures could appear later as the mind gave familiar form to strange sensations. Supporters argue that this explains why geometric marks and hybrid beings often share the same spaces. Critics warn that altered states are too broad an explanation. Similar patterns also come from decoration, counting, or simple hand movement. Even so, the theory remains powerful because caves naturally affect the senses. Darkness, echo, exhaustion, and flickering light can change perception. The wall may have recorded not the outer world, but an inner experience that felt completely real to the person who had it. Entoptic shapes may connect cave art to altered states. Entoptic images are visual effects produced within the eye and brain. They can appear as dots, spirals, grids, or pulsing lines. People may see them during migraines, sensory deprivation, or trance. Some prehistoric signs resemble these forms closely. That resemblance has encouraged the idea that cave artists were recording universal features of human vision. If true, the same brain patterns could explain why related symbols appear in places with no contact. The artists may not have copied one another at all. They may have seen similar shapes because human nervous systems work in similar ways. A simple grid on the wall could therefore be a record of perception rather than a code. Yet this explanation does not settle everything. Once a visual effect was remembered, a culture could give it meaning. A spiral might become a doorway. A group of dots might become spirits. The shape could begin inside the eye and end as part of a shared belief. That path from biology to symbolism is one of the most intriguing possibilities in cave art. Some animals appear half real and half imagined. Not every creature on cave walls can be matched neatly with a known species. Some bodies combine believable anatomy with impossible features. A head may seem familiar while the limbs do not. A horn may curve in a way no real animal does. These images could be damaged or poorly preserved, but some appear intentionally strange. Perhaps the artist blended several animals into one being. Such a creature might have belonged to a myth that everyone once knew. It could also represent a spirit believed to move between forms. Another possibility is that the image records a dream. Prehistoric people had the same ability to imagine beings that never existed. The difference is that we no longer know the stories attached to them. Modern viewers often try to identify every figure as zoology. That may miss the point. Some images were never meant to be natural history. They may preserve the earliest monsters, guardians, or sacred beings ever pictured by human hands. Human figures are rare, strange, and often hard to interpret. Animals fill many prehistoric walls with confidence and detail. Human figures are far less common. When they do appear, they are often simplified or distorted. Faces may be absent. Limbs can look stiff. Bodies sometimes seem deliberately incomplete. This contrast is one of cave art's greatest mysteries. The artists clearly had the skill to draw lifelike forms, so why treat people differently? One idea is that depicting a human face was forbidden. Another is that human images represented roles rather than individuals. A rough body could stand for a hunter, ancestor, or spirit without showing identity. Some people believe the distortion reflects masks or ceremonial clothing. Others see a deeper separation between the human world and the animal world. Animals may have been viewed as more powerful, more sacred, or more worthy of careful attention. The rare human figure, therefore, becomes especially important. Its strangeness may not show lack of ability. It may reveal a rule that governed what could be shown. Hybrid beings may reveal ancient myths we have lost. A figure with a human body and an animal head is not easy to explain as ordinary observation. Such beings appear in several prehistoric settings. They may show performers wearing masks or skins, yet some examples seem to go beyond costume. Their bodies merge species in ways that suggest transformation. This could point to myths about humans becoming animals or ancestors returning in another form. Many later cultures tell stories of shape-shifting beings. Cave art may preserve much earlier versions of that idea. Another theory connects hybrids with ritual specialists who entered trance and believed they crossed into an animal state. The image could record that transformation. Critics note that damaged drawings can create false combinations. A human outline may overlap an older animal by accident. Even so, certain figures look too deliberate to ignore. If they represent myth, then the stories behind them may have survived for thousands of years before disappearing. The wall keeps the character, but the tale has been erased. The sorcerer of Trois Frères still inspires wild debate. High inside Trois Frères' cave is a famous figure often called the sorcerer. It appears to combine human and animal features. The body seems upright, while the head carries antlers or horns. Other details are difficult to read because the image is engraved into a crowded surface. Early interpretations described a ritual magician wearing an elaborate costume. Later scholars questioned whether all the visible lines belong to one figure. Some may come from overlapping engravings. The image could therefore be less complete than it appears in reproductions. Yet the figure continues to dominate discussion because it seems to stand between worlds. It may be a dancer, a spirit, or a transformed human. Some people see it as evidence of organized shamanic belief. Others think the title itself has shaped expectations too strongly. Once viewers hear the word sorcerer, they begin to see magic. The mystery remains because the image is suggestive enough to invite a story, but uncertain enough to resist one. Masked figures may show ritual performers or spirit beings. Some prehistoric human forms appear to wear animal heads or exaggerated facial coverings. These could be hunters using disguise, but the locations and poses sometimes suggest something more ceremonial. A mask can hide personal identity and allow someone to become a role. The wearer may speak as an ancestor or act as a spirit during a ritual. If cave scenes show masked performers, then the paintings may preserve fragments of ancient theatre. The chamber could have been a stage where stories were enacted under firelight. Another possibility is that the figures were not viewed as people in costume. The original audience may have believed they truly became the beings they represented. That distinction matters because modern ideas of performance separate acting from belief. Prehistoric ceremony may not have done so. A painted mask could therefore record both a physical object and a supernatural transformation. We cannot tell whether the figure was pretending, remembering, or revealing what the community believed was actually present. Therianthropes blur the line between people and animals. Therianthropes are figures that combine human and animal traits. Their appearance in very ancient art suggests that people were imagining mixed identities long before written mythology. A human torso may join an animal head. Hands may remain human while the posture becomes beast-like. These combinations are unlikely to be simple portraits. They seem to express a change in state. The figure might be an ancestor who crossed between forms. It could be a hunter seeking the strength of the animal pursued. Some people interpret therianthropes as travelers between worlds. They may have represented specialists who entered altered states and returned with knowledge. Another possibility is social. A clan could identify itself with a particular species and picture that connection literally. Whatever the explanation, the image challenges the assumption that prehistoric thought was purely practical. These people were not only watching animals, they were imagining what it meant to become one. That idea sits at the root of countless later legends. The Lion Man sculpture echoes themes found in cave art. Carved from mammoth ivory, the Lion Man joins a human body with the head of a cave lion. It was created more than 30,000 years ago and required extraordinary patience. The maker shaped hard ivory with stone tools, then smoothed the form until the hybrid became unmistakable. This object matters because it shows that mixed beings were not confined to cave walls. The same imaginative world appeared in portable art. A sculpture could be carried, handled, and perhaps used in ceremony. Some people think the Lion Man represents a deity. Others see a mythic ancestor or a ritual identity. Its careful construction suggests it was important enough to justify many hours of work. The figure also proves that prehistoric artists could invent beings beyond direct observation. They were not merely copying nature. They were building concepts. The Lion Man may therefore be one surviving character from a lost system of belief that connected sculpture, cave imagery, and spoken story. Cave art may connect to early storytelling and performance. A painted wall may have been the background for stories told aloud. Certain animal scenes look arranged around action. Figures face one another. Bodies overlap in ways that suggest sequence. A narrator could have used these images as anchors while describing a hunt, a migration, or a myth. The cave would add sound and darkness to the performance. A lamp could reveal one section at a time. The audience might never see the whole wall at once. This would let the storyteller control suspense. Some images may have been less like finished pictures and more like prompts known to trained speakers. A single animal could recall an entire tale. The performance itself would disappear after each telling, while the wall remained ready for the next. This idea explains why some panels feel dense and difficult to read. They may not have been designed for silent viewing. Without the voice, gesture, and timing that once accompanied them, we are seeing only the stage after everyone has gone. Ancient images could have worked like teaching tools for hunters. Young hunters needed to recognize movement, tracks, and moments of danger. Cave images may have helped experienced adults teach that knowledge. A painted bison could show how the head lowers before a charge. A horse might reveal the shape of a moving herd. Engravings could help explain where to aim or how an animal turns when wounded. In this reading, the cave became a classroom. The wall allowed people to discuss situations without facing the risk itself. Yet the art often goes beyond practical diagrams. Many species are shown without clear hunting action. Some important prey animals are almost absent. This suggests teaching may have been only one purpose. A lesson about behavior could also carry a moral or ceremonial meaning. The animal might teach both survival and respect. Some people imagine that training was reserved for those reaching a certain age. The cave journey may have turned instruction into initiation. Knowledge learned underground could feel more serious than advice given around an ordinary fire. Other paintings seem unrelated to practical survival lessons. Some cave images cannot be explained by hunting instruction. Predators appear that people rarely pursued. Abstract signs cluster where no practical lesson is obvious. Strange beings occupy places that offer no clear information about food or danger. This suggests that cave art addressed needs beyond survival. Humans also seek meaning, identity, and explanation. A painting might answer why a species was feared or why a place felt powerful. It could preserve a story about origins. It might even mark a personal experience that mattered only to one group. The difficulty is that practical and symbolic purposes can overlap. A lion may warn of danger while also representing authority. A sign may record a season while carrying ritual importance. Modern categories divide useful knowledge from belief. Prehistoric cultures may not have recognized that separation. The same image could teach, protect, and remember. What seems impractical to us may have been essential within their worldview. The mystery lies in judging purpose without knowing the rules that made each picture meaningful. Dangerous animals were often painted with intense attention. Cave lions, bears, rhinoceroses, and powerful bovines appear with striking care. These animals posed real danger, yet artists studied them closely enough to capture posture and muscle. Their presence may reflect fear, but fear alone does not explain the effort. A dangerous animal can also represent authority. It may become a guardian, rival, or source of spiritual power. Some images were placed where the chamber itself feels imposing. The animal then controls the space. Viewers approaching under weak light may have seen the predator emerge suddenly from the wall. That experience could create awe without any living beast present. Another possibility is that painting a dangerous species offered symbolic control. By fixing it in an image, people may have felt they could influence its behavior. Yet many figures show respect rather than domination. The artist does not reduce the creature. It remains powerful. These paintings may reveal a relationship built on admiration and caution, not simply the wish to conquer. Predators may have represented fear, respect, or supernatural power. Predators occupied a special position in the prehistoric world. They competed with humans for shelter and prey. They also moved with abilities people could admire. A lion saw in darkness. A bear survived winter. A wolf hunted through cooperation. Such qualities may have made these animals natural symbols of forces beyond ordinary human control. Painting them could be an act of respect or a request for protection. Some communities may have believed predators carried messages from the spirit world. Others might have claimed descent from them. The absence of obvious hunting scenes involving many predators supports the idea that they were not pictured as simple targets. Their role may have been closer to guardian or rival. Some people even suggest that certain cave entrances were associated with the animals that used them before humans arrived. Entering the cave could then feel like entering the predator's domain. The painted figure may have acknowledged who truly owned the darkness. Mammoths appear in caves long after their world vanished. Mammoths once dominated cold landscapes across vast regions. Cave images preserve their curved backs, heavy heads, and sweeping tusks with remarkable clarity. These pictures now offer a direct link to animals that disappeared thousands of years ago. Yet they may also preserve more than appearance. Certain scenes could reflect behavior that bones cannot reveal. Grouping, posture, and interaction may hint at how people watched mammoth herds. Some figures appear simplified. Others show details of hair or trunk position. The variation suggests that mammoths carried different meanings in different places. They may have been food, danger, memory, or myth. After local populations vanished, stories about them might have continued. A painted mammoth could outlive the living animals and become a creature of the past, even for prehistoric viewers. That raises an extraordinary possibility. Some cave art may already have been ancient to the people who later encountered it. They may have looked at mammoths on the wall and wondered about a lost world. Aurochs paintings preserve animals no living person has seen. The aurochs was a huge, wild ancestor of modern cattle. It stood taller and carried horns that curved with intimidating force. Cave artists captured its power in some of the largest animal images ever made. The species survived into recorded history, but the last known individual died centuries ago. Today, no one can observe an aurochs alive. The paintings therefore hold information that cannot be recovered from living behavior. They show posture, body proportion, and perhaps differences between males and females. Some depictions use strong black outlines that make the animal dominate the chamber. This may reflect its importance to prehistoric people. Aurochs were dangerous to hunt, yet they also represented enormous value. Their size may have made them symbols of endurance or status. Modern breeding projects have tried to recreate something similar through domestic cattle, but any result remains an approximation. The true aurochs survives only through bones, written description, and the ancient eyes that fixed it onto stone. Some species are drawn more accurately than expected. Prehistoric artists often captured anatomical details that casual observers would miss. The curve of a horse's jaw can be exact. A mammoth's shoulder line may reflect its heavy frame. A lion can be shown without a mane, which matches what is known about Ice Age cave lions. Such accuracy suggests long observation and strong visual memory. The artists may have studied animals during hunts or seasonal gatherings. They understood which features made each species distinct. This skill matters because many drawings were completed in darkness without a living model present. The image had to be reconstructed from memory. Some people believe specialist artists trained for years. Others think close knowledge of animals was common because survival demanded it. Either way, the precision challenges assumptions about primitive art. These were not random outlines. They were selective records made by people who knew exactly what they were seeing. The mystery is how much other information remains hidden in details modern viewers have not yet learned to recognize. Other creatures are distorted in ways that feel intentional. Not every cave animal follows natural proportions. Some have tiny heads, stretched bodies, or exaggerated horns. These distortions may not be mistakes. An artist can change anatomy to emphasize what matters most. A large belly might represent fertility. An oversized horn could signal danger or status. The wall shape may also force the body into unusual form. Yet certain distortions repeat often enough to suggest convention. Viewers may have understood them as signs. A strange horse could belong to a particular mythic category. A compressed animal might indicate movement or death. Some people propose that altered proportions came from trance visions. Others see a symbolic language similar to later heraldry. The image was not meant to look fully realistic because it represented more than a living creature. This possibility reminds us that accuracy is not always the goal of art. A distorted figure may carry information that a natural one cannot. What looks wrong to us may have been perfectly correct within the original system. Pigments sometimes sparkle because minerals were chosen with care. Some prehistoric paints contain mineral particles that catch light. Under flame, the surface may shimmer rather than remain flat. This effect could have been accidental, but certain materials appear to have been selected deliberately. The artists understood that different minerals created different results. A sparkling pigment might make an animal seem alive as the light moved. It could also distinguish a special figure from ordinary ones. Collecting such material may have required travel to a specific source. The choice, therefore, reflects both technical knowledge and intention. Some people think glittering surfaces were linked to spiritual presence. A figure that changed under light may have seemed to reveal another state. Others prefer a simpler explanation. Humans have always valued attractive materials. The painter may have wanted beauty. Yet in a dark cave, sparkle would not be visible unless a flame was positioned correctly. That suggests the effect was made for a controlled viewing moment. The wall may have been designed to surprise people who knew exactly where to stand. Black manganese may have been valued for more than color. Manganese dioxide created deep black marks that remained visible against pale stone. Yet this mineral may have been chosen for other properties as well. It could produce different textures depending on how it was ground. Some forms may also have helped with fire making or combustion. That raises the possibility that the material carried practical value before it became paint. A substance linked to flame could gain symbolic importance in a dark cave. The same mineral might help create light and then be used to create an image. Such a connection would not be lost on people who depended on both. Some people suggest that pigment sources were treated as special places. Gathering black mineral may have involved rules or rituals. We cannot prove this, but the careful preparation is clear. The artists did not simply rub random soot onto the wall. They selected, processed, and applied a material whose qualities they understood. The black line may therefore represent knowledge as much as color. Ochre may have carried symbolic meaning long before cave art. Red ochre was used by humans far earlier than the great painted caves of Europe. It appears on tools, objects, and possible burial materials from very ancient sites. This long history suggests the color already held meaning before it reached cave walls. Red can resemble blood, fire, or living skin, but those associations should not be assumed universally. The material may have been valued because it was durable and easy to prepare. Yet repeated use over immense spans of time points towards something deeper. Ochre may have marked identity or transformation. It could have protected the body or signaled participation in ceremony. When artists later painted animals and hands in red, they may have drawn on traditions already ancient to them. The pigment itself carried memory. Some people imagine that red walls were linked to life or rebirth. Others see continuity with burial customs. Whatever the meaning, ochre was not just a convenient color. It was one of humanity's oldest chosen materials. Ancient paint recipes suggest knowledge passed through generations. Cave pigments were often prepared through more than simple grinding. Minerals could be mixed, heated, or combined with other substances. The resulting paint behaved differently depending on the recipe. Some mixtures spread smoothly, others adhered better to damp stone. This level of control suggests experimentation over time. One person discovered what worked, then taught another. The knowledge may have been guarded by specialists. A skilled painter needed to understand both image and material. The raw mixture could fade or crumble. Surviving works show that many recipes were remarkably effective. Some colors remain visible after tens of thousands of years. That durability may be accidental, but it also reflects good preparation. Researchers sometimes find distinct recipes in different chambers, which may point to separate traditions or time periods. A pigment formula could therefore act like a cultural signature. It may reveal which group painted where. The recipe itself has vanished, but the wall still preserves the result of knowledge transmitted from one generation to the next. Some artists engraved lines before adding pigment. Beneath certain painted animals are shallow grooves cut into stone. These lines may have served as a guide before color was applied. The artist first established the shape, then strengthened it with pigment. This resembles careful planning rather than spontaneous drawing. Engraving also ensured that the image would remain if the paint faded. In some cases, the carved lime catches shadow and gives the body greater depth. The technique could make a figure visible under changing light. It also shows that cave artists combined methods. A single image might include scraping, carving, and painting. Each stage required different tools and decisions. Some people believe the engraved outline was the more important part, while pigment was added for ceremony. Others think the groove simply helped control proportion. The process itself may have carried meaning. Cutting into the wall is different from marking its surface. The artist was physically altering the stone. That action could have been seen as opening, releasing, or fixing the animal within the cave. Scratched images can disappear until light strikes them correctly. Engravings on cave walls are often nearly invisible under direct light. A shallow line can blend into the natural texture. Move the lamp to one side, and the figure suddenly appears. This hidden quality may have been intentional. Ancient viewers understood how flame created shadow. They could reveal an image at the right moment, then let it vanish again. The effect would give control to whoever carried the light. An unprepared visitor might see nothing. A guide could make an animal emerge from bare stone. This has obvious dramatic power. It may also explain why some panels contain dense, overlapping lines. Different images become visible from different angles. The wall can hold several scenes without showing them all at once. Modern photographs often fail to capture this because flat lighting removes the shadows. What looks like a confusing scratch field may have been a carefully designed sequence. The mystery is not only what was drawn, it is how the image was meant to appear and disappear. Modern scans reveal drawings invisible to ordinary visitors. Digital imaging has transformed the study of cave art. High-resolution scans can detect faint pigment that the eye no longer sees. Software can separate colors from mineral stains and reveal lines hidden beneath centuries of change. Three-dimensional models also show how images relate to the shape of the wall. These tools have uncovered figures missed by generations of researchers. A patch once dismissed as damage may prove to be an animal. A group of marks may turn out to form a deliberate sign. This means famous caves are still changing without any new paint being found. The information was always there, but technology allowed it to be seen. Some people wonder how many accepted interpretations will collapse as more hidden layers appear. A panel thought to show one scene may contain several periods of work. An isolated sign may belong to a larger pattern. Modern scans do not solve the mystery, but they keep making it more complex. The caves still hold images that have not fully returned. Cave walls still hide faded images beneath mineral growth. Water moving through limestone deposits, thin layers of calcite across painted surfaces. Over thousands of years, these layers can cover pigment until the image seems to vanish. In some cases, only a faint outline remains. In others, the painting may be completely sealed beneath stone. This means decorated caves could contain far more art than we can currently see. Removing the mineral would risk destroying the original, so researchers often leave it untouched. New scanning methods may eventually reveal what lies below. Until then, the wall keeps its secret. Mineral growth can also distort shapes and create false features. A horn may look broken. A body may appear incomplete. Interpretations built on the visible surface could therefore be wrong. Some people imagine entire scenes waiting beneath clear deposits. That possibility is not fantasy. Hidden pigment has already been detected in several caves. The known record may be only the outermost layer of a much larger archive. Dating cave art remains one of archaeology's hardest problems. Most cave paintings contain no simple date that can be measured directly. Charcoal may be tested, but only if it belongs to the original image. Mineral pigment often contains no organic material at all. Researchers must then date deposits above or below the paint. This provides boundaries rather than an exact year. Contamination can also confuse results. A later visitor might use old charcoal taken from an ancient fire. The drawing would then appear older than it truly is. Different methods sometimes produce conflicting answers. That can change the entire story of a cave. A painting placed 5,000 years earlier may belong to another culture. One placed later may no longer be revolutionary. Because chronology shapes interpretation, every date carries enormous weight. Some people suspect that many famous images are still misdated. Others argue that broad patterns are reliable, even when individual results remain uncertain. The wall preserves the picture clearly, but time is the part that refuses to stay fixed. Calcite layers can reveal minimum ages, but not full stories. When a thin mineral crust forms over a painting, it must be younger than the pigment beneath it. Dating that crust can therefore show that the image is at least a certain age. This method has produced some astonishing results. Yet it does not reveal how much older the art may be. A crust dated to 40,000 years could have formed soon after the painting, or thousands of years later. The true age remains open. Mineral layers can also grow unevenly. One section may not represent the whole image. Critics debate how samples are chosen and whether tiny amounts of contamination affect results. Even with those limits, calcite dating has changed major arguments about early art. It allows researchers to study marks made without charcoal. Some controversial images may belong to periods once thought impossible. The method therefore opens doors while leaving uncertainty behind. It can prove that a painting is older than expected, but it rarely tells us the full moment when the artist stood there. Some famous paintings may be much older than once believed. Early cave chronologies often relied on style. Researchers compared shapes, techniques, and animal forms, then arranged them into a sequence from simple to complex. New dating methods have disrupted that order. Sophisticated paintings can be extremely old. Simple signs can be surprisingly recent. Style does not always move in a straight line. A community may return to an older method or maintain one tradition for thousands of years. This means some celebrated panels could predate the cultures once credited with making them. The implications are enormous. An image might belong to a different human population. It could also shift the origin of a technique by many millennia. Some people believe future dating will reveal that symbolic art began far earlier than current evidence suggests. Others caution that extraordinary dates require careful confirmation. Even so, the old assumption that greater skill means later age has already failed. The cave wall does not arrange itself according to modern expectations of progress. New dating methods keep reopening old cave art arguments. Every improvement in dating creates new possibilities and new disputes. Uranium series tests examine mineral deposits. Radiocarbon methods have become more precise. Microscopic analysis can separate layers once treated as a single surface. Each technique promises clarity, yet each also introduces questions about sampling and contamination. A result can overturn decades of interpretation. It may place modern humans in a cave earlier than expected, or suggest that another human group made the marks. This is why cave art remains active science rather than settled history. The age of one line can change the meaning of an entire site. Some people welcome the instability because it prevents old assumptions from becoming permanent. Others worry that dramatic dates receive attention before they are fully tested. Both concerns are reasonable. New tools can reveal truth, But they can also produce false confidence. The most fascinating part is that the argument is not ending. The deeper technology looks into the wall, the less simple the timeline becomes. Conservation rules protect caves while limiting public experience. The greatest threat to ancient cave art may now be the people who most want to see it. Every visitor brings warmth, moisture, dust, and microorganisms into a sealed environment. Even a small change can disturb surfaces that remain stable for thousands of years. This is why many decorated caves now restrict entry or close completely. The decision protects the paintings, but it also creates a strange separation. Humanity's oldest images survive behind locked doors, while most people experience them through photographs and replicas. Some argue that this weakens the emotional power of the originals. Others believe access must remain limited because one generation has no right to risk what belongs to the future. The caves force an uncomfortable question. Is cultural heritage meant to be seen, or is survival more important than direct experience? There may be no perfect answer. Protecting the art requires distance, yet distance changes what the art means to us. Lascaux closed because human attention began damaging its walls. When Lascaux opened to the public, enormous crowds entered the cave each year. Their breath changed the humidity. Electric lighting altered the temperature. New organisms began growing across surfaces that had remained balanced since the Ice Age. Green patches appeared. Later, fungal outbreaks threatened the paintings. The cave eventually closed to ordinary visitors in the 1960s. That decision saved the art, but it also revealed how fragile the underground environment truly was. The damage did not come from vandalism. It came from admiration. People loved the cave so much that their presence began to destroy it. Even after closure, specialists struggled with biological changes inside. Treatments sometimes created new problems. Lascaux became a lesson in unintended consequences. Modern knowledge could not easily restore the ancient balance. Some people see an eerie warning in this. The paintings survived deep time, yet they nearly failed when the modern world finally arrived to celebrate them. Replica caves raise questions about copies and sacred originals. Visitors to famous prehistoric sites often enter carefully constructed replicas rather than the original chambers. Every crack, curve, and painted figure may be reproduced with extraordinary precision. The copy can offer lighting and access that the real cave cannot safely provide. Yet something important may still be missing. A replica shows the image, but it does not contain the exact stone touched by the artist. It lacks the age of the chamber and the unbroken physical link to the past. Some people feel that this difference changes everything. Others argue that meaning comes from the experience, not the original material. If a copy creates the same scale and visual effect, perhaps it communicates more than a distant photograph ever could. The question becomes almost philosophical. Is authenticity located in pigment, place, or human response? Prehistoric people may have cared deeply about specific caves. A perfect copy can reproduce appearance, but it may never reproduce why that particular underground space mattered. Microbes changed how researchers think about preserving painted chambers. Caves are living environments filled with bacteria, fungi, and microscopic organisms. For a long time, conservation focused mainly on temperature and moisture. Then, biological outbreaks showed that the invisible ecosystem could be just as important as the stone. A treatment designed to kill one organism may allow another to spread. Cleaning a surface can disturb a balance that took centuries to form. Researchers now study cave microbes as part of the artwork's environment. Some organisms may damage pigment. Others could actually help stabilize mineral layers. The challenge is that nobody fully understands every relationship inside the chamber. Intervention may save a painting or begin a new problem. This has forced conservation to become more cautious. Sometimes the safest action is to do almost nothing. That can feel uncomfortable when stains are spreading. Yet ancient caves survived because their systems remained undisturbed. Modern preservation is therefore less about controlling nature and more about learning when human control could make the danger worse. Ancient footprints sometimes survive near painted cave passages. Soft cave floors can preserve a moment with astonishing clarity. Human footprints remain in clay where people walked thousands of years ago. Some belong to adults. Others were made by children or adolescents. Their direction may show how visitors approached a painted chamber and where they turned back. Unlike a painting, a footprint was often accidental. It captures movement rather than intention. That makes it deeply personal. The maker was not leaving a grand message. They were simply passing through. Yet the print can reveal stride, speed, and even whether someone slipped. In some caves, footprints appear beside animal tracks. This raises the possibility that humans entered spaces already used by bears or other creatures. The encounter may have added danger to the journey. Some people imagine guides leading small groups through darkness while lamps cast weak light ahead. The prints do not tell us why they entered, but they preserve exactly where human bodies moved through the mystery. Foot tracks may show who entered and how they moved. A line of footprints can reveal more than presence. Differences in size may show that several people traveled together. Spacing can indicate whether they walked slowly or hurried. A deep heel impression may suggest a heavy step. A narrow route may show that visitors followed one another carefully. In rare cases, researchers have reconstructed possible group movement through a chamber. This can test theories about ceremony and access. If only a few individuals entered, the event may have been restricted. If children accompanied adults, the cave may have served a broader social purpose. Some tracks suddenly stop where the floor changed, which reminds us how incomplete the record is. Others cross painted areas in ways that could reveal the order of activity. A footprint placed over fallen pigment must be later than the image. The ground therefore becomes a second archive beneath the walls. It records behavior without explanation, leaving us to reconstruct a journey from pressure marks in ancient mud. Some paths through caves feel arranged like deliberate journeys. The route into a decorated cave can shape the experience long before any image appears. A visitor may pass through a narrow tunnel and emerge into a larger chamber. The path may then descend toward another painted area. Such changes create a sequence that feels almost planned. The cave itself provides suspense. Darkness hides what comes next. A guide can control the pace and decide when the group stops. Some people believe the images were positioned to match this movement. A powerful animal might appear after a difficult passage. A sign could mark a turning point. The journey may have told a story through space. Critics note that natural caves were not built by humans, so the sequence may be accidental. Yet people still chose where to paint. They could have selected locations that transformed the route into an experience. If so, understanding cave art requires more than studying isolated walls. The path between images may have carried part of the meaning. Narrow passages may have created fear before revelation. Crawling through a tight passage changes the body immediately. Movement becomes slow. Breathing grows louder. The person ahead may disappear around a bend. In a prehistoric cave, the only light came from a small flame that could fail. These conditions would create tension even for experienced visitors. Reaching a painted chamber afterward could feel like entering a transformed world. The difficulty may have prepared people emotionally for what they were about to see. A dramatic image revealed after fear would carry greater force than the same image near daylight. Some ceremonies may have used this effect deliberately. The cave itself became a test before the final encounter. Another possibility is that narrow spaces symbolized passage through birth or death. Emerging into a chamber could represent renewal. Such interpretations cannot be proven, but the physical experience is real. Ancient visitors felt the same pressure of stone around them. Whatever beliefs they carried, the root would have shaped those beliefs powerfully. Sound studies suggest painted areas can have unusual echoes. Researchers testing cave acoustics have found that certain decorated locations return sound with unusual strength. A clap may produce several echoes. A low voice can resonate as though the chamber has answered. This pattern does not appear everywhere, so caution is necessary. Yet where sound and imagery coincide, the connection is hard to ignore. Ancient people did not need instruments to notice it. They could test a wall simply by calling out. A place with a strong response may have seemed different from a silent one. The echo might have been interpreted as a spirit, ancestor, or animal voice. Paintings placed there could strengthen that impression. Some people suggest that sound helped determine which chambers became important. The cave was not chosen only by sight. It was explored through hearing. If that is true, modern viewing misses a major part of the original experience. The image remains visible, but the sound that gave it power may no longer be performed. Drumming inside caves may have transformed images into experiences. A drumbeat underground does not behave like a drumbeat outside. The sound travels through passages and returns from several directions. Repetition can create the impression of movement around the listener. In a painted chamber, that effect may have made animals seem present rather than pictured. A steady rhythm could also alter attention and breathing. Participants might enter a focused state before an image was revealed. No prehistoric drum has survived from most painted caves, but simple percussion could have been made from wood, skin, or stone. The lack of an object does not mean the sound was absent. Some people believe resonant chambers were used deliberately because rhythm became unusually powerful there. Others warn that this remains speculation. Still, the possibility fits the physical space. Cave art may have belonged to events that involved the whole body. The wall provided the figure. The beat provided movement. Together, they could create an experience far more intense than silent observation. Singing near painted walls may have shaped ancient ceremonies. The human voice can change dramatically inside a cave. A single note may deepen or return with unexpected clarity. Several voices can blend until the source becomes difficult to locate. Prehistoric communities may have used this effect during gatherings. A repeated phrase could surround the listener while painted animals appeared in moving light. The result might feel as though the cave itself was speaking. Certain chambers are especially suited to sustained tones. This has led some researchers to compare their acoustics with later sacred buildings. The comparison does not prove a shared purpose, but it shows how naturally sound can give a space ceremonial power. Psalms may have carried stories that explained the images. They might also have guided breathing or group movement. No melody survives, so this part of cave culture is completely lost. We see the walls in silence, but the original audience may have known them through voices repeated across generations. The paintings could have been inseparable from songs. Darkness itself may have been part of the message. Complete darkness is rare in ordinary human life. Even at night, stars or fire provide orientation. Deep inside a cave, darkness can become absolute. A person cannot see a hand held before the face. This condition changes time, balance, and awareness. Prehistoric visitors chose to enter it rather than avoid it. That choice suggests darkness carried meaning. It may have represented the unknown, the world of the dead, or a place before creation. A lamp then became more than a practical tool. It controlled what existed within sight. An image appeared only when light reached it. Everything beyond the flame remained hidden. Some people believe this contrast formed part of a ceremony. The unseen was as important as the visible. Modern galleries remove that relationship by lighting every surface at once. In the original setting, knowledge came in fragments. Darkness concealed the whole and forced trust in whoever held the light. The mystery may have depended on what could not be seen. Fire smoke on ceilings records visits we cannot fully reconstruct. Blackened patches above ancient lamps reveal where flames once burned. Soot can show that people stopped in a particular place or returned there many times. A single mark may come from one visit. Thick deposits can suggest repeated activity across generations. These traces help reconstruct movement through chambers even when footprints are absent. They also reveal practical choices. Visitors needed enough light to work, but too much smoke could make breathing difficult. Lamps had to be placed where they would not fail or damage the image. Some soot appears near panels that may have taken many hours to complete. This suggests long sessions underground. Other deposits occur where no visible art remains, raising the possibility that hidden or vanished activity took place there. The smoke is an accidental record. Nobody intended it as a message. Yet it preserves the presence of flame with remarkable honesty. Every dark stain marks a moment when someone stood beneath it and needed light. Broken lamps suggest repeated journeys into difficult underground spaces. Stone lamps found in caves often contain traces of burned fat and charred wicks. Some are broken where they were used. Others were left behind after their fuel ran out. These objects show that underground visits were planned. A person needed a container, fuel, and a wick that would burn steadily. Carrying several lamps may have protected against total darkness if one failed. The discovery of lamps at different depths suggests people moved through the cave in stages. Some may have placed lights along the route like markers. Others carried them into chambers where painting occurred. A broken lamp could signal an accident or a deliberate offering. Some people believe leaving a light source behind had symbolic meaning. The flame had guided the visitor, and the empty lamp remained as proof of the journey. Whatever the reason, these objects reveal preparation. Entering a decorated cave was not a casual decision. It required equipment, knowledge, and the confidence to return through darkness. Portable art may connect cave walls to everyday life. Prehistoric people carved and decorated objects that could be carried outside the cave. Bone, antler, ivory, and stone bear animals or abstract signs similar to those found underground. This suggests the visual tradition was not confined to hidden chambers. Symbols may have moved through camps and traveled between groups. A small carved object could be held during storytelling or exchanged as a gift. It might also identify the owner. The connection between portable art and cave imagery raises an important question. Were both parts of the same belief system? A sign carved on a tool may have carried the same meaning as one painted on a wall. Alternatively, similar styles may have served completely different purposes. The object belonged to daily life, while the cave image belonged to ceremony. Some people imagine that portable pieces acted as keys to larger stories shown underground. The cave was the great setting, while the object allowed part of its meaning to travel. Carved objects hint that symbols moved beyond the caves. A symbol cut into bone can travel farther than any wall painting. It can pass from one person to another and cross regions through exchange. Repeated designs on small objects suggest that prehistoric signs may have circulated widely. This movement could explain why certain shapes appear in distant places. The object carried the symbol before anyone copied it onto another surface. Some carvings show wear from handling, which means they were not simply displayed. They may have been touched often or worn against the body. That physical closeness suggests personal importance. A marked object could serve as a token, tally, or protective item. Some people think it represented membership within a group. Others see early forms of memory storage. Whatever the purpose, portable symbols break the idea that cave art existed in isolation. The underground image may have belonged to a much larger network of signs used in ordinary life. Most of that network disappeared because wood, fiber, and skin did not survive. Body painting may have existed alongside cave painting. Pigments found at prehistoric sites were not necessarily used only on walls. Ochre can be applied to skin, hair, clothing, or objects. Body painting may therefore have formed part of the same ceremonies connected with cave art. A person entering the chamber could have carried symbols directly on the body. Those markings would move, breathe, and vanish after washing. Unlike stone images, they left almost no trace. This means much of prehistoric visual culture may be missing from archaeology. The cave paintings could be the durable remains of a far richer world filled with temporary color. Some figures on walls appear to show patterned bodies, though interpretation is difficult. If people painted themselves, the act may have marked age, role, or group identity. It could also have transformed a participant into an animal or spirit. The wall preserved one side of the event. The other side may have lived briefly on human skin before disappearing completely. Temporary rituals may have vanished while wall images survived. A ceremony can involve movement, speech, objects, and rules that leave no permanent evidence. Cave walls may preserve only one small element from such events. The painting remains because stone protected it. Everything performed around it has vanished. This creates a dangerous illusion. Modern viewers may treat the image as complete when it was only a backdrop or final stage. A handprint could have followed a spoken vow. An animal might have been revealed after a long preparation. A sign may have mattered only when touched in a certain way. Without the ritual, the picture becomes almost impossible to interpret. Some people believe cave art should be studied like the surviving prop from a lost performance. The object is real, but its function cannot be understood alone. This idea also explains why many images resist simple meaning. They were not designed to explain themselves. Everyone present already knew the procedure. We are looking at the remains without the instructions. Some caves may contain star maps disguised as animal scenes. A painted animal could represent more than a creature on Earth. It may also stand for a group of stars. Under this theory, the wall becomes a sky chart expressed through familiar beings. The position of each animal could match a celestial pattern visible at a particular time of year. Supporters point to scenes where dots and figures appear carefully arranged. They believe the images help track seasonal change or preserve observations of the heavens. Critics argue that almost any group of shapes can be matched with stars after enough adjustment. The theory is difficult to test because prehistoric constellations may have looked nothing like modern ones. Yet that uncertainty also keeps the possibility alive. Ancient people watched the night sky without city light. They would have noticed recurring movements with great precision. If they connected stars with animals, the cave offered a permanent place to record those relationships. What appears to be a herd may actually be a map, whose coordinates are hidden in myth. Catastrophe theories link cave art to comets and climate shocks. Some alternative interpretations propose that cave images record dramatic events in the sky. An unusual animal scene might represent a comet. A cluster of signs could mark fragments crossing the heavens. Supporters connect these ideas with periods of sudden climate change or widespread disruption. They argue that ancient people would preserve a terrifying celestial event through symbolic imagery. The cave offered a stable archive when spoken memory might fade. Mainstream researchers remain skeptical because the links often depend on uncertain dates and flexible symbolism. A painted creature can be interpreted many ways. Even so, the broader idea is not impossible. Humans have recorded eclipses and comets throughout written history. Prehistoric communities were equally capable of noticing rare events. The real question is whether they represented them through animals and signs. If one panel does preserve a cosmic disaster, we may be looking at an eyewitness account written in a language nobody can read. That possibility continues to attract those who suspect the past remembers more than archaeology admits. Ancient artists may have recorded events in symbolic code. A cave scene does not need to resemble an event directly in order to preserve it. Symbols can compress a story into a few recognizable forms. One animal might represent a group. A certain sign could indicate danger or death. Their arrangement may record a migration, conflict, or unusual natural event. The original audience would understand because they shared the code. Modern viewers see only separate images. This possibility helps explain why some panels feel organized but refuse literal interpretation. They may function like memory aids rather than pictures. A trained storyteller could look at the wall and recover the full account. Some people believe repeated signs reveal a system of historical recording long before writing. Critics note that symbolic codes leave few ways to test a translation. Almost any story can be imposed on an ambiguous image. Yet the human desire to preserve major events is ancient. Cave art may contain history, but history expressed through conventions that disappeared with the culture that created them. Mainstream archaeology remains cautious about cosmic interpretations. Claims about ancient astronomy attract attention because they promise a hidden level of sophistication. Archaeologists usually demand strong evidence before accepting them. A pattern on a wall must match the sky in a way that cannot easily occur by chance. The image must also be dated accurately enough to reconstruct the ancient heavens. These standards are difficult to meet. Supporters sometimes view such caution as resistance to ideas that challenge accepted history. Researchers respond that caution protects the field from attractive but unfalsifiable claims. Both sides are reacting to a real problem. Cave art is ambiguous, and celestial patterns are easy to imagine. Yet ancient people unquestionably observed the sky. The debate is therefore not about whether they knew the stars. It is about whether a specific painting proves it. This tension keeps cosmic theories alive. The evidence is suggestive enough to invite wonder, but uncertain enough to prevent agreement. The cave remains suspended between possibility and proof. Fringe ideas persist because the images still resist explanation. Uncertainty creates space for unusual theories. When no accepted interpretation explains a cave panel, people naturally search beyond conventional answers. Some see star charts. Others imagine lost civilizations or contact with non-human beings. These ideas often go far beyond the available evidence, yet they endure because the mystery is genuine. Archaeology can describe pigment, age, and location. It cannot always explain intention. That gap invites speculation. Mainstream caution may also make alternative interpretations feel more exciting. A theory rejected by experts can gain the appeal of forbidden knowledge. Still, not every fringe idea deserves equal weight. Some ignore context or rely on selective details. The challenge is to remain open without treating imagination as proof. Cave art rewards that balance. The unknown should not be filled too quickly, but neither should it be dismissed. The images resist explanation because their creators left no commentary. Until that changes, unconventional ideas will continue gathering around the silence. Cave art may preserve myths older than written language. Written myths are only the latest versions of stories that may have circulated for thousands of years. Cave images could preserve earlier forms of those narratives. A hybrid being may represent a transformation tale. An animal facing a sign could mark a moment from a creation story. Repeated scenes might show themes that later appeared in folklore. Proving continuity is nearly impossible because the time gaps are enormous. Stories change whenever they are retold. Yet certain ideas recur across cultures with surprising persistence. Humans imagine journeys to other worlds and beings who cross between species. These themes may be deeply rooted in the way minds understand danger and identity. Some people believe particular myths can be traced back to the Ice Age. Others warn that universal human experience can create similar stories independently. Either way, the cave walls may preserve fragments of narrative thought from before any alphabet existed. The pictures are silent, but they may once have belonged to stories told for countless generations. Lost oral traditions may be the missing key to everything. Cave art was created by people who lived in speaking communities. They had names for animals, places, and unseen forces. They told stories that explained why certain images mattered. None of those words survived. This may be the central reason interpretation remains so difficult. A simple sign could have carried a meaning obvious to every member of the group. Without the oral tradition, it becomes a shape with endless possible explanations. The same is true of scenes. A figure that looks mysterious to us may have been instantly recognizable within a familiar tale. Some cultures preserve detailed knowledge without writing for very long periods. Prehistoric communities may have done the same. Their memory systems could have been disciplined and precise. The cave wall may have supported that memory rather than replaced it. We inherited the permanent part and lost the living explanation. If even one original story had survived, it might transform how every image in the cave is understood. Every new discovery makes the timeline stranger and wider. Cave art once seemed to belong mainly to a narrow period in Ice Age Europe. New finds have steadily broken that picture apart. Older dates appear in unexpected regions. Different human groups may have contributed. Symbolic traditions now seem to stretch across far greater distances and deeper time than early researchers imagined. Each discovery solves one problem and creates several more. If sophisticated art existed so early, where are its beginnings? If distant regions produced similar imagery, did the idea travel or arise independently? The record keeps widening because preservation is uneven. A single, newly dated image can shift the known boundary by thousands of years. This makes any neat origin story feel temporary. Some people suspect the oldest surviving art is nowhere near the true beginning. The earliest works may have been made on skin, wood, or exposed rock that vanished. What archaeology calls the first may simply be the oldest piece lucky enough to survive. The greatest cave art mystery may be why it began. Technique can be studied. Pigment can be analyzed. Dates can be debated. The deepest question remains harder. Why did humans begin placing images on stone at all? Practical explanations cover only part of the evidence. Art may have helped teach or remember. It may also have served ceremony. Yet none of these ideas explains the first moment when a mark became meaningful. Someone had to understand that an image could stand for something absent. That mental leap changed human culture forever. Once a figure could represent an animal, it could also carry memory or belief. The act may have emerged gradually through decoration and play. It may have appeared suddenly during a period of social change. Some people even imagined contact with a lost source of knowledge. Evidence for that is lacking, but the mystery encourages speculation. We know art began because the walls survive. We do not know what need became powerful enough to make it begin. These ancient walls still feel like messages waiting for translation. The images remain visible, yet their meanings stay just beyond reach. We recognize the animals. We can identify the minerals and reconstruct the tools. What we cannot recover is the thought that joined them together. This gives cave art its unusual power. It is familiar enough to feel human and distant enough to remain unknowable. Every theory opens one door while closing another. A hunting explanation cannot cover every sign. A ritual explanation may be too broad. Astronomical ideas can inspire without proving themselves. The walls accept all these readings because they offer no correction. Some people believe a future discovery may provide the missing key. A repeated symbol could be decoded, or a preserved site might reveal clearer context. Others suspect the original meaning is gone forever. That may be part of why the art still feels alive. It has not become a settled object from the past. It remains an unfinished conversation between ancient minds and anyone willing to look. Tonight, we have followed the mystery of cave art, from its earliest surviving marks to the strange questions that still surround them. We have seen how ancient people carried light into places where nobody lived. They painted animals that no longer exist, left handprints that still feel personal, and placed symbols on stone but may once have carried clear meaning. Some images may have helped preserve memory. Others may have belonged to ceremony. A few may even reflect ideas about the stars or events that were never recorded in writing. We have also seen how much has been lost. The stories are gone. The voices have faded. The people who understood the signs left no explanation behind. What remains is the cave itself, holding its images in darkness while each generation tries to understand them again. Perhaps that is why cave art remains so powerful. It gives us something real to look at, but it does not tell us exactly what to believe. It leaves room for history, imagination, and the possibility that the past was far stranger than we currently understand. If you enjoyed this journey, you can support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, or leaving a thought below. And if you happen to still be awake, another mystery will be waiting for you on the screen. But for now, there is nothing more you need to solve. Let the painted chambers drift further away. Allow the questions to remain unanswered. Let your breathing slow as the walls grow still again, and the last flicker of firelight fades from view. The mystery can wait. Sleep well, and good night.